We'll just hit a few of the highlights here
Okay.
and the board can give you directions if they want to.
It's not hard. I did it for
That's good.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah. All that does, is make over here. They put a thing in there. Nothing else will, you gotta, everything else is gonna be shut before it goes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's probably only 4 or 5 hundred.
Can't send it back.
Yeah, that's all that is.
So when T-Bot comes on to grab it, it doesn't. go.
But else, at my place, you already would get stamped.
Wednesday,
We're not
Thursday.
running it backwards.
Okay, we are live at 6:31. I will call to order the Monday, December 19th meeting of the Darlington Community School District Board of Education. Bob, do you acknowledge public notice?
Yes, I do.
Let's stand for the pledge of allegiance.
The pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Chris? Here. Thank here. Grass?
Here.
Shelley? Here. Stafford? Here. Winslow?
Here.
Wolf?
Yeah.
Here.
Item 3 is call for special appearance. Is there anyone present who'd like to address the board? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 4, adoption of the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Schilling, second by Gratz. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 5, approval of minutes from our board meeting on December 5th.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Winslow, second by Zubeer. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 6, Bob, Matt, Joe, and Stacy and Jeff reviewed and audited the bills for payment.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Schilling, second by Fink. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 7, introduction of new staff by Mr. Moore.
Sure. Someone who is somewhat familiar to most of you, Tanner Havens, he's joining us this year. He is coaching, volunteer coach in boys basketball, but he's driver's ed, phy ed, and health teacher this year. He has a master's degree and a bachelor's degree. Where his past teaching experience has been from, I will let Tanner speak on that.
I graduated from Clark University in Dubuque, Iowa there, played college basketball, and then transferred to North University in Sioux Center, Iowa, where I was doing my master coaching collegiate basketball for the girls side, and then also subbing middle school and elementary schools, wide range, anywhere between pre-K to 7th grade. Then from there, I got a job in Des Moines, Iowa, along with the basketball coaching staff there at Grandview University. Coached in numerous different schools as a sub for all of the inner city area, as well as the suburbs of Des Moines. And then I took a job at UW Richland, Platteville, Richland, as a college coach there, and then taught 3 years at Weston School District in the pre-K, elementary, middle school, phy ed department, as well as health. And then was fortunate to get the job back here in my hometown. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back, buddy.
Okay, item 8, discussion and action regarding student attending alternative school.
We have a recommendation to send a student from the high school to the Mineral Point Alternative School. There will be no additional cost to the district. We had 2 students there that we had paid for, and they that graduated. That opened up 2 spots. At the last meeting, you approved 1, and this would potentially be the second one. We'd be back to where we were.
Motion also approved.
Second.
Motion by Schilling, second by Stoffer to approve the student attending the alternative school. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 9, discussion action regarding WASB delegate positions.
The WSB School Board Convention is coming up next month. So far, Bob and Carly are the only two board members who have registered. If anybody else would like to go, talk to me or Sheila coming up here, there's still time. One of the things that happens at this convention is a representative from each board gets together in a delegate assembly and votes on resolutions that will be officially put forward by the school board association to the government as the school's recommendations as a whole. So the process for that is we get a copy of them in advance, the potential resolutions. I have those here. We can discuss them as much as or little as you'd like to. Carly is our representative. Bob actually will be in the same room. He'll be representing CISA 3. But Carly will be our representative. And so if you guys would like to share with her the direction that you'd like her to go on some of these resolutions, we can do that now. Otherwise, she can just use her judgment as it goes. There's a lot of debate back and forth at these things. I highlighted a few of them. Most of them are pretty straightforward. This is a school board association. These are all things that are good for schools for the most part. The question isn't whether or not they're good for schools. It's kind of get past the government, what the funding or whatever it would take to make them happen. But just a couple of them to give you some examples. Unemployment compensation for people who switch districts. Teachers and support staff right now don't work in the summer, but they can't get unemployment even though they're not working because they have guaranteed employment the next year. So you didn't really lose your job, you're just off for the summer. I don't know if you want to call it a loophole or whatever, but if you resign from one school and you have a contract in another school, you can right now get unemployment. This would be a resolution to stop that from happening. If you worked the previous year and you have a signed contract for the next year, then you would not be eligible for unemployment from your old school. Next one. They have it in Iowa and it comes up here periodically. It would be a resolution to add 1 cent sales tax in Wisconsin for their purpose of, usually it's for construction, but it would be for schools. They have this in Iowa. They have a penny for kids or different names. Be great idea if it passed here. It's been brought up numerous times in the past and hasn't, but it doesn't hurt to try again. There's one on here for tying the revenue limit increase to inflation. So the way it is right now, every 2 years, the government gets together and decides on an increase for schools or not. The last 2 years has actually been no increase. This would be a good idea if it ever got through that revenue limit went up with inflation automatically without a lot of debate. There's one resolution on here to give extra weight to ESL students due to the obvious increased cost in educating them. This one's something that comes up periodically too, and so you might be tempted to think it's been tried before and it's not going to ever go, but for some reason I just get the feeling this one has some actual potential to make it all the way through. I would just say we should push for this one particularly. They always say maybe a 1.1 or 1.2 weighting for ESL students in the funding formula. That would really be helpful. And then the last one has to do with private school transportation. It's kind of a no-brainer. I don't know how this has gotten this way this long, but public schools are required to transport private school students. Like, for example, Holy Rosary kids ride our buses, we take them over, which fine. There's a rule that public school has to take them to the private school, even if it's outside of your district, if it's within 5 miles of the boundary. And so what public schools do is they're not going to send a bus, with one kid back and forth 5 miles. So they pay the parents to transport the kid, figure out what the cost is and work something out. Well, what's happening is the parents are getting reimbursed. If you have 3 kids going to the same school, you're getting triple the mileage and you're driving one car. So this would be a resolution to change the law from the public schools required to pay for each kid to the private school, it would change it. You're required to pay for each household. So I would be all for that. So that's just a sampling of what you're gonna be as far as.
Hope that ever gets.
I just didn't think about somebody trying to monkey the
Doesn't
system.
even get passed for the private school, you might get paid, so the public school have to pay it.
Maybe the WIA is running.
Yeah, you want a private school, then.
Like they figured it out.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't get it, how that ever, whatever.
All right, any other questions or comments on that stuff? Item 10, discussion and action regarding a donation. The wrestling club would like to donate warm-up pants and headgear to the DHS wrestling program.
Approved, thank them.
Second, and thank them.
Motion by Zubeer, second by Winslow to approve the donation with our thanks. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Item 11, discussion and action regarding approval of general contractor for FEMA shelter.
Yeah, we met in this room recently with representatives from HSR. They opened up all the bids for contractors that were wanting to build a FEMA shelter. We had 6 quality bids. They were all within close range. They were all competitive, good bids. We're required, with this being federal money, to go with the lowest bidder if that person is qualified. And in this case, the company that was the lowest bidder was found to be qualified through reference checks and that kind of thing. So it's going to be Empire Construction. They're out of Chicago. They put in a bid of $6.28 million to build the FEMA structure.
We don't need action on that.
Yeah, if we could approve Empire as the
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Zubeer, second by Chris to approve Empire Construction as the general contractor for the FEMA shelter. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 12, discussion and action regarding fiber line from high school to Dems.
The location of the new FEMA structure is going to be on top of the current fiber line where the internet runs between the 2 schools. So Lee has been coordinating this whole thing of getting that moved. It's going to be not as bad as it could have been. When he put it in the first place, he buried a junction box at the halfway point in case it's ever happened. So now at least we only have to dig in that box and move around only half as much as we would have had to. So he got the bids and we're recommending $17,203 to reroute the fiber line between the 2 buildings. Dependable Solutions, our computer people, have vetted this whole process and said the line is the right kind and it's gonna all work out.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. By Chris, second by Stoffer to approve.
Who's doing that work? Tri-State's doing the drilling.
All right,
Tri-State's drilling and HBI, Holtz are both your brother,
HBI.
same company that did the fiber connection last time.
do we know, is that fee rate reimbursable or will they check?
I'll have to check. There's a chance, yeah.
It was last time, wasn't
I think so.
it?
Anything for like connectivity seems to be.
Pretty sure it was.
Okay, so motion by Chris, second by Stoffer to approve that fiber line movement. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 13, superintendent, principals, activities director, and building and grounds reports. Yeah.
Number 1, the civil rights audit. We have a meeting with the representative from DPI tomorrow on that. It's going very well. Mr. Moyer, Mr. Uppana, Justin Doyle. A lot of people are. Yeah, a lot of people put a lot of effort into this, but Lindsay Crest is really the central hub of it, coordinating everything, documenting it. So we have a meeting tomorrow morning and we expect it to go well and we are very close to wrapping it up. More to come on that. Tomorrow night, there's a city council meeting. The architect was drawing the plans and looking at things for building a FEMA structure, and it turns out that the land that it's going on, somehow this whole time has been zoned as residential, and there's a plot of potential streets that are all set up in there from way back. So we had to have the city council had to put out an opportunity for people to give their input to rezone it. And there's a meeting tomorrow night, which Lee and I are gonna go to. Should just be a quick stamp of changing it. And the last thing is in DIMS here, the ladies in the guidance office put together every year a giving tree of students that are in need. Their names get put on the street. And I have to say a big thank you to the ladies in the guidance office here for coordinating it, but for the entire staff, the generosity, off the charts. There was 94 gifts that were needed, and they're all are gonna get filled Wednesday morning by generous donations of the DIM staff.
That's great. Thanks, Carol. Mike?
Okay, passed around the report for this meeting. Try to get through as quickly as possible. So our Rosie staff members of the week, for the week of December 12th, Heather Richardson, and for this week, Becky Disworth, both support staff in our building who do great things with students. First National Bank Students of the Month at the K4 level, Charlie Corley, who's in 3rd grade, and from the 5-8 level, Landon Edgerton, who's in 8th grade. Middle school boys basketball concluded last week. We had 18 7th grade players and 16 8th grade players. So congratulations to Coach Johnson and Coach Schwartz on very successful seasons. We also had a holiday concert on December 12th. So I want to give props to Tina Schlimm and Lynn Curry for all the preparation that went into that. And of course, to our student performers for an excellent presentation. Very well done. 7th grade went on a field trip to the Overture Center for a Christmas carol. And the students did a great job representing DEMS on the bus, in the theater, at the restaurant afterward. I want to thank our 7th grade staff for the work they did to coordinate that trip. Family fun night took place on Thursday. 120 students and 95 adults took part. We use that as Title I funds. It's to promote family engagement. A lot of math and reading activities. Many are led by UW Platteville Method students who came down with their professor and some members of the math department. We also had Candy Fitzsimons here from the Johnson Public Library to lead an activity. Cookies, cheese, crackers. Every student goes home with a new book. The Optimist Club donated water, and the Lafayette County Dairy Promotion donated the milk, and lots of door prizes, board games, things of that nature. So thanks to Gene O'Neill for organizing, and Mihi, Molly Weigel, Luce Picard, Molly Rice, Mariah McMullen, heard of them before, Stephanie Ackerman, Green Hartwick. So all those folks for taking part, and then Big Bud for all his help in setting up and tearing down. And then some things coming up. We're in the midst of holiday dress up days, hence the hat. I'm not just a moron. Though you can see the days listed there. Santa Claus is coming. So he'll be here tomorrow for 4K through 4th. We also have tomorrow a holiday concert at 2 p.m. in the gym. Annual DEMS talent show is Thursday morning. We'll make a decision tomorrow as to whether or not we need to look at the placement of that, depending on what's falling from the sky. And then girls basketball and wrestling will start after the break. We have 11 7th grade girls signed up, 10 8th grade girls signed up, and then we have 15 wrestlers signed up. You can see the grade breakdown there. So that's what's going on at DEMS.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, well, I'd want to congratulate our first National Bank Student of the Month was Zoe Zuberbuehler. So congratulations to her. Our holiday concert is tonight at 7 o'clock. So in about 10 minutes that begins. The band and choir performing, so we'll look forward to hearing them. From an administrative standpoint, we talk every week about different perspectives and things that have been going well. And we just want to thank the cooks who they're constantly being flexible and just, you never know when the menu is going to change. You never know what products are coming in, and they're always just really flexible. So from our perspective, we just want to thank them for all their flexibility. Just a reminder, the first semester will end on January 20th. So our semester exams are the 19th and 20th when we get back from break. And then kind of an update that I think is important. We asked the board at the beginning of the school year to allow us to have 2 full-time subs. So I just want to kind of give you an update of a breakdown. As of last Tuesday, we have had 3 days in the high school that we have not needed a sub. And those were 9/1, 10/12, and 10/13. Every other day that we've had school, it's almost 80 days, we've had to have a sub in the building. And out of those days, 9 of those days, we would have had one of those full-time subs in our building, but they're already booked at DEMS, both of them were. So when you look at the usage of those full-time subs, they are in our building. If there's 81 days, they're in our building, 67, 68 days already. Whether that's part of a day or a full day. So they are being utilized to the max. And I think the message to that is thank you, because it's helping us. It's alleviating some of the questions, concerns, issues we have. We can plug them in and they're willing just to go wherever. There's a lot of days where we'll have Jared and he'll be one person in the morning and one person in the afternoon. He may come in and be a support staff member. We have nothing, so he'll jump in and help in the ESL classroom. And then within the class period, we have to move him because somebody may be going home sick or somebody just couldn't make it or whatever the reasoning is, we plug him in. So they're very flexible, but I wanted to kind of give you guys an update on the usage and just kind of let you see where we've been utilizing them at DEMS. Mike will have some different numbers for you after Christmas, but for DHS, I just want to let you know that. And from all of us, from me to all of you, have a happy holiday. That's it.
Thank you, Rich.
Yeah, winter sports off and running. Already got some rescheduled dates going on. We rescheduled a wrestling quad that was supposed to be in Boscoville. That's going to now be on January 9th, which is Monday. We rescheduled a game against Riverdale. It's supposed to be this Thursday. Just a heads up, Thursday's not looking great. Proactively, we're looking to move that to right after school on Wednesday. I don't like doing that, but also I don't like kicking the can down the road because there's probably going to be more makeup dates after the break. So we're looking at doing maybe a 4 or 4:30 start, varsity only. It's going to be a varsity only game anyway.
Have you talked with anybody on isn't there a wrestling tournament Thursday night?
Yeah, I have an email out to the other ADs on that one. Didn't hear anything back, but yeah,
I'm not
we're
saying
supposed to go to the quad in Ithaca.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine Brookwood's gonna wanna come down if that's what they're getting, but yeah, so
I have no
that'll
idea.
be a possible move as well. Other than that, our wrestling team went up to the Alliant Energy Center and had a very nice showing, finished second. We also had a female wrestler that was able to take advantage of the girls bracket. That's a fairly new thing where WIA has a sanctioned girls division. So there's starting to be more tournaments and things like that. So
There's 15, 20 girls teams up there.
yeah, it's really, I mean, once it got sanctioned, you're starting to see a lot more numbers. So, but yeah, over break, our boys basketball is in Lancaster for what we all affectionately call the Up and Off Family Tournament. And then our girls are in Belmont for a 2-day tournament. And then our wrestlers go down to Whitewater for the Mid-States tournament. So we do have a few things over break, but like any they do, they're all week. So that's really all I got.
Thanks, Pat. Lee.
Kale touched on DPI audit is winding down finally, and then it's nice to know the FEMA project is streamlined. That's been a lot of work by the admin staff to get that to where it's at now. So we can let HSR and Empire do their part. Just want to touch the cleaning staff, done a nice job. The custodial staff, there's a lot of demands in the building during the winter sports seasons, whether it's traveling ball or school ball, high school, middle school. They do a nice job. I know battling a lot of the illnesses and sicknesses going on right now. They've wetting everything down, doing a great job. So we're hoping to get to Christmas break and everyone comes back healthy.
Thanks, Lee. Brings us to agenda item 14, which includes items appropriate for executive session, including high school girls basketball volunteer coach candidate and fall coach evaluations. Those are both appropriate for executive session and Wisconsin statute 19.85, parent 1, parent C.
Motion to go closed session.
Motion by Schilling, second by Gretz to go into closed session. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed. Motion passes unanimously.